Everything was ready. The moment God had been waiting for was here at last. God was coming to help his people, just as he had promised in the beginning. But how would he come? What would he be like? What would he do? Mountains could have bowed down, seas would have roared, trees would have clapped their hands, but the earth held its breath. As silent as snow falling, he came in, and when no one was looking, in the darkness, he came.
There was a young girl who was engaged to a man called Joseph. One morning, this girl was minding her own business when suddenly a great warrior of light appeared, right there in her bedroom. He was Gabriel, and he was an angel, a special messenger from heaven. When she saw him standing there, Mary was frightened.
"You don't need to be scared," Gabriel said. "God is very happy with you. Mary, you're going to have a baby, a little boy. You will call him Jesus. He is God's own son. He is the one. He is the rescuer. Wait, God was sending a baby to rescue the world."
"But it's too wonderful," Mary said. "How can it be true?"
"Is anything too wonderful for God?" Gabriel asked.
So Mary trusted God more than what her eyes could see. "I am God's servant," she said. "Whatever God says, I will do."
Just as the angel said, 9 months later, Mary was almost ready to have her baby. Mary and Joseph had to take a long trip to Bethlehem. But when they reached the little town, they found everyone was full and every bed was taken.
"Go away," the innkeepers told them. "Where shall we stay? Soon Mary's baby would come."
They found an old stable and stayed there with the cows and donkeys and horses.
And there, in the stable, in the quiet of the night, God gave the world his wonderful gift. The baby that would change the world was born, his baby son.
Mary and Joseph named him Jesus, Emmanuel, which means God has come to live with us. Because, of course, he had.
That same night, a bright new star appeared. God had put it there when his baby son was born, shining on him, lighting up the darkness, showing people the way to him.
You see, God was like a new daddy. He couldn't wait to keep the good news to himself. Been waiting all these long years for this moment, and now he wanted to tell everyone.
That night some shepherds were out in the fields, warming themselves by a campfire, when suddenly they saw a huge warrior of light blazing in the darkness.
"Come to bring you happy news from everyone, everywhere. Today, in Bethlehem, God's son has been born. You can go and see him. He is sleeping in a manger."
Behind the angel they saw troops and troops of angels, armed with light. They were singing a beautiful song, "Glory to God."
The shepherds quickly ran to find the stable and the baby king. They knelt on the floor, watching the promised baby, a light to light up the whole world.
Far away in the east, 3 clever men saw the very same star. They knew it was a sign that the baby king had been born.
They packed up their camels and their most precious gifts, frankincense, gold, and myrrh. Presents for a king.
They rode their camels across endless deserts, fields, up steep mountains, through rivers, valleys, and fields, until at last they reached Bethlehem, where the star finally stopped.
But wait, it wasn't a palace. There weren't any guards, or servants, or flags. Did they get it wrong? Was this really the place God had meant?
Sure enough, they found him there, sitting on his mother's knee, their little king. The 3 men knelt before him and gave him their treasures.
The journey had led them to the king God had promised to David all those years before. But this child was a new kind of king. Though he was the Prince of Heaven, he had become poor.
Though he was the mighty God, he had become a helpless baby.
This king hadn't come to be the boss.
He had come to be a servant.